On this video, I'm going to talk about the follow-up and the what, the where, and the how of follow-up. If you want to be fortunate in your business, then follow-up really is going to be something that you want to get a total grip on and a real understanding of. So, hi, I'm Lucy. I help female business builders to expand their team and scale their business online. With this in mind, follow-up is one of the key areas that sometimes gets overlooked or people are a little bit afraid of. And I found that when I first started in business, that a lot of my peers were shying away from following up. My sponsor was very, very strong on doing follow-up, making sure that I had a set time in every week, that I was going to go to the people that I had made contact with and to follow through. So that kind of brings me to so there's three things I want to cover on here: the what, the who, and the how. So the first thing I'm going to cover is the what. What is follow-up? What is it all about? So follow-up is really once you've got a lead, once you've got a customer, or once you've got somebody in your business, that you keep having touch points with them. And we'll go into those touch points a little later in the video. But the touch points are key, and you need to know how many times to make those touch points to your optimum effect. And you also need to know when to cut off. So not completely cut off, but just stop following up more one-to-one. And this has been proven, people have gone in and they've done this and they've found out the results and the best number of times to do follow-up. And I always look back at, well, what do I do myself? If somebody has a product that I like and I've shown an interest in it, do they come back to me again and again and again? And do I not always purchase on that first time, but maybe it's the second or the third or the fourth time that I see that it's the right time for me and the right timing? Sometimes I'm just too busy to do the purchase, to book onto the event, to do whatever. But because they keep on just feeding it to me, here it is, remember this is happening. And sometimes it's a countdown. It's like, this is the final day, this is the final hour, this is going to be gone by midnight. And you see this little reminder, this follow-up. This is what follow-up is. So that's what it is. It's the reminder to the people that you are in touch with personally, that you have worked hard to get coming to you and to find that you are going to follow up and make sure that they're getting your message over and over again. So the who then is the second part. Who am I following up? It might be simply that you've reached out to somebody and they've said, yes, I'm interested. Don't wait for them to come back again to you and say, tell me more. If they've said, yes, I'm interested, that's somebody to follow up. If they've come back to you and said, yes, I'm interested, you've given them more information and they haven't responded then after that, that's another time to follow up. That person hadn't either seen the message or they just need a little, here it is again, here it is again. And sometimes, I have people that go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I didn't see your message. Yes, I'm absolutely so interested. Always open to look at something like this. Or I definitely need improved health, or whatever that thing is that you're in touch about. The other thing to remember is once you've got somebody who has become a customer, who has become a member of your team, continue to follow up. So that is another who that you need to follow up. You need to follow up your customers, make sure they're getting a good result. Are they happy? Can you help them? Let them know there's upgrades. Let them know that if they give you a referral, then then they will get something for that. So there are lots of stages when you're following up. And basically you might think, well, I'm just in communication with them. Yes, exactly. But you're following up on their journey. You're following up on finding out how they're doing, how well they're getting on. Do they have questions? Do they have any challenges that you can help them to overcome? Allow them to come back to you. And then the third thing is the how. So how are you going to follow up? How do you feel most comfortable following up? That's going to be a key. I like to do it in several different ways. If they're my customer already, I like to be speaking to them. If they're my member already in my team, I like to speak with them and do other stuff. But I want to be able to speak with them so that sometimes they're not thinking to ask a question. They put it to the back of their mind. But when they actually speak to me, they go, oh, there was something I did want to ask you. And then we'll have that conversation and the clarity's there. And guess what? What happens then? They're much more likely to be happy customers and move forward and continue on because they've got that worry, that fear, whatever it was in the back of their mind, that's now gone. That's sorted. But guess what? We're human. Something else is going to come along, right? Everything comes around in a circle. And again, I just say, just go back to yourself. I know when I purchase something, it's not always plain sailing. I don't get the follow-up, but if I reach out to the company, obviously they can't, if it's a huge company and it's not all person to person like we are, it's harder for them to do that, but they might, again, just drip feed. So another way to do it, they would be doing that most likely through an email list that you've got onto because you've bought their product. So they are emailing you that thing. And I go back to something that I bought, gosh, I don't know how many years ago now, probably back in 2015. And it was a fabulous container to make bread. And I love it. I absolutely love it. But I was never put on their list. So they never email me. So I can never go, I would like to buy it from you again. I'd like to buy 2 or 3 of those from you again because they were lovely people. But because they haven't put me on a list and I can't find, there's nothing on the item to say who they are, I can't actually get in touch with those people. So they did the work. They put the time and effort in, and I want to be able to buy it from them again, but I'm not on their list. And so that's a real shame. So what I would suggest is emailing is great. I'm just going to plug this in because otherwise I'm going to get cut off. So that wouldn't be a very good idea. There we go. So emailing, that's another way to do. One-to-one calls, that's another way. Texting. If you're a texter, if your people are texters, so that's another way to look at it. It's not just how you like to communicate with people. How do they like to receive their communication? Do they like to be spoken to? Would they much prefer having a text? Do they like emails? Do they like Messenger? Do they like WhatsApp? What other forms do they like? Are they an Instagram person? But always remember, with those kinds of messages, if that platform goes down, you've got no way of messaging them unless you've got their email or their phone number, and you can just message them separately. So be careful of that. That's something to really look out for. And then the last thing, and I've started using this probably this year to a large extent, and that's something called Trello. And there will be lots of other different types of things that you can use, but it's a system whereby I can use it and move people across the follow-up platform, if you like. And it's very key to me for my business because I can see the person, I can see what they do, I can see how many times I've contacted them, I can see what I've said and what they've said, and it's not paper. I'm very much a pen and paper girl, but it was getting a little bit ridiculous. And so Trello is my lifesaver at the moment for people that I'm following up as business leads because I have so many. And that brings me to my very last point, which is how many times. So it's not just how you can follow up, but it's also how many times. So the point 3B, if you like, to that is how many times? 7 times. If you just do 5, you might miss some. If you go over 7, you're probably not going to get very many at all. But if you follow up with people 7 times, then you'll get 50% more than you did if you just followed up with them once or twice. So it's really worth doing those 7 follow-ups. And again, that can be any way. That can be through Messenger. It can be leaving a voice message. It can be through an email. So those are my hot points for following up. I love follow-up. I really enjoy, because I don't know whose life I'm going to change. If it's the right timing for them, then that could be a huge change in their life. But if I don't reach out for those 7 times, and with emailing, if they're on my emailing list, they just kind of stay there, and that's a kind of a very passive follow-up, because it's to a whole group of people. But those 7 times personally, if I don't do that, I'm doing them a disservice. I'm not doing the best I can do for that person. I know that I've got a great product, a great service. What I do is fantastic. And I know I can help that person if they are ready, if they decide that I'm the right person for them. So I hope you take something away from that. And if you want to be fortunate, then follow up, because that equals fortune. Follow up equals fortune. And that was really drummed into me when I first came into business. So being more fortunate, do the work.